Well, when you get into kids that are like from Boys Town or Second Mountain, we're talking about a lower socioeconomic demographic. And these kids are from disadvantaged families. And by the time they've been molested, and a lot of the kids that I've talked to, and I've talked to a lot of victims, they get involved with drugs and other types of behavior that reduce their credibility. And and their self-esteem is really shredded too. And so they're very reluctant to come forward. So someone that does take the step of coming forward really is going against the grain of their nature to speak out, because and a lot of times we've seen this with Sandusky and certainly with the Franklin scandal, victims are threatened about not coming out, and also are told that no one will believe you even if you speak. So victims are very reluctant to come forward.
Well, and these are victims who have either they're in foster care or they're having significant issues with their parents. And I mean, one boy in the Sandusky case, Sandusky essentially attacked him right as he was mourning the death of his mother. The boy was mourning the death of his mother, and in comes this horrible predator. I'm actually sick to my stomach right now at the thought that this could be more common than what we see.
Well, unfortunately, it is more common than what we see. And in addition to Syracuse and the Brooklands Poly Prep, you also have the Fenway Park ball boys, and then the head of the AAU. There's recent allegations against the former president of the AAU, which is responsible for tens of thousands of children, young athletes. So child abuse is much more common than people think. And there's a number of factors. Like in the Franklin scandal is really a template of child trafficking in the United States, and then I get into the cover-up. But it shows how predators are very sophisticated in how they prey upon kids. Because in the Franklin scandal, kids were not only taken out of Boys Town, they were taken out of foster care, and also the perpetrator was pretty integral in a girls' club in Omaha, where one of the victims said that she ultimately was enmeshed or recruited for the ring from the girls' club. And so you have these pillars of the community, and they generally have pretty strong allies in government, law enforcement, and the media. And although there's a critical mass of information, like with Sandusky in 1998 and 2002, people in the media or government just decide that the details are too hot to handle, too sordid to handle. And then you throw into the mix the public's understandable squeamishness toward the entire subject of pedophilia, and you basically have the perfect recipe for a cover-up.
If you're just tuning in to our KCAA Morning Show, I'm Paul Lane with Aaron Brinker and John Watanabe, and we're talking to Nick Bryan. He's a journalist and author of a great book that chronicles the child abuse networks in Nebraska and also Florida. We're talking about the Penn State scandal, and the title of his book is The Franklin Scandal. And Nick, one of the things that I was looking at yesterday was Jerry Sandusky doing like a press conference. And this guy seemed to lie with a straight face, and he is just pure evil. You know, if all this comes out and he's guilty, a person like that is so dangerous. Because I don't know if you saw that, Nick, when he was on the television. That's a pure evil, maniacal person if all this is true. Well,
the Sandusky case has shown us, and then these other cases, actually, the pedophile network in Miami isn't in my book, The Franklin Scandal, but it's the one I've been investigating the last year. These predators, especially when you get away from like the archetypical, or what's perceived as the archetypical child molester, someone who's living in a seedy motel, wearing a threadbare trench coat, when you actually look at pillars of the community who are predators and monsters, they have a tremendous amount of narcissism and a tremendous amount of arrogance. I mean, if you look at Sandusky's behavior since he's been indicted, it's really antithetical to what most sane people would do in a similar situation. And it just shows that he's just a bundle of narcissism and arrogance. And that type of arrogance and narcissism generally makes people quite stupid, and that's what we're seeing with Jerry Sandusky right now.
He genuinely believes he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, he
which
sure
is
does.
It's unfathomable to me.
Well, that's the case with a number of these predators. I mean, they are so sick and twisted and narcissistic that they think that they're actually helping the children out by letting the children hang out with them or be part of their social circle. I mean, I've seen that. It's quite mind-boggling. And the children or their victims actually believe that lie, too.
Now, you just brought... Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
That's why it's very hard, because these children look up to these people, and plus they're very frightened of these people, too. So getting back to your earlier question, it's very hard for them to come out and acknowledge that they've been sexually abused by a pillar of the community.
Now, it's been brought up, Sandusky believes he did nothing wrong, that he thought he was just being playful, doing quote-unquote horseplay. Now, I don't know if this is a similar case or not, but we all remember the Michael Jackson case, and I've heard Michael Jackson in the past say on interviews saying that, oh, he's just playing with these boys in an innocent kind of way. I mean, some people think that he was in his own Peter Pan kind of Wonderland kind of world, thinking that he was just being playful with these kids. Have you drawn any similarities between Michael Jackson and Sandusky? I mean, it's just a thought.
I really haven't, although I do believe that Michael Jackson did have make a pretty large civil settlement with one of his alleged victims. And the similarities between Sandusky and Jackson are very different because they're very different personalities. And Michael Jackson was looked upon as someone who was, to be charitable, a little eccentric. Whereas Jerry Sandusky has been looked upon as I said before, a pillar of the community, someone who's well integrated into society. And those perceptions really weren't part of Michael Jackson's persona.
I actually think that Michael Jackson, his brain was stuck at a prepubescent child. I think.
Yeah, like 12 years old.
Yeah, he suffered enough systematic abuse that his brain just stopped developing at that point.
It's entirely possible, and that's one thing that I have noticed about child abuse victims, and there's a lot of psychiatric literature that will support it, is that a lot of these kids, when they start getting sexually abused, whether it's at 10 or 12 or 13, they stop developing emotionally and developmentally. And and I've talked to several victims who might be in their mid-20s or their 30s, excuse me, and they're developmentally, it's like talking to a teenager.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Well, Nick, thank you for joining us on the KCAA Morning Show. Journalist Nick Bryant, author of The Franklin Scandal. Nick, where can our listeners find out more information about you and that great book that you authored, The Franklin Scandal?
They can go to my website, www.franklinscandal.com, and you can order the book from the website. You can order the book on Amazon. You can order the book from Barnes & Noble. But you can go to my website, and there's a lot of information about the book and about the particular scandal that I uncovered in the past on the website.
Well, we have posted the link to your website on our KCAA Radio Facebook page, as we always do, so that our listeners can, if they're not able to check it right now, they don't have to remember it. It's there on our Facebook page.
Well, thank you very much.
You're more than welcome, Nick, and thank you for joining us, and we look forward to having you back again, okay?
Okay, have a great morning.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Okay, bye.
This is the KCAA Morning Show. Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. The thought, as a parent, the thought that this is as widespread as it appears to be, and I'm going to get this book and read it over Christmas, is horrifying to me. This is sexual abuse passes on a sickness that infests the person for the rest of their lives, and then they have to fight it to not pass on that sickness. And it's probably the most insidious thing you can do to a child.
Yeah, that is so true, and we'll be following the stories and many wells too. We're also going to talk about a fraud sweep that took place in Chino Hills after sports, and members of In-Home Supported Services. You definitely want to hear the story coming up after our sports report. But we're going to make like a tree and get out of here and get ready for our sports with Nicola Capria. And John, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. Currently 52 degrees in San Bernardino outside our Carousel Ball studios. Locally in the Inland Empire, weather-wise, today it'll be sunny, high near 61. Tomorrow, Thursday, fog in the morning and then sunny again, high near 62. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, the ski report followed by the sports report on the KCAA Morning Show.
Hey folks, Jerry Gussman here. It's a fact the economy is making it very difficult for families to keep up with their financial obligations. This past year, I have helped so many distressed homeowners that were behind on their mortgage